Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. So today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about the movies, the TV shows, I don't know, what have you, whatever the case may be. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, then yes, of course, I'll be talking about it, obviously. So, for this video, I'll be talking about something when it comes to articles, I guess you can say, which I've done multiple times already, so I just figured, hey, what the hell. So it's gonna be this, obviously. Yes, another princess thing, of course, obviously, and of course it was written a while back. I mean, good while back. Oh boy. But then, yeah, and the article states that yeah, long are the days since the previous princess movies, stories, I guess you can call them. Of course, what the individuals were referring to is like movies like, let's say, Snow White, the very first princess movie, of course, that Disney had made. That, of course, became very popular, so it kind of just created this whole genre of film, I suppose, for, well, at least for Disney anyway, really popularizing this kind of a thing. Anyway, it led to other movies like, let's say, of course, one of the things you might come to mind is, of course, a Disney Princess Cinderella film, of course. And, like, really? You can't be what? Can't be possibly. Christ. This is really stupid because, again, I've said this multiple times already. Because is that just because you're light skinned, it doesn't mean you're all from the same country. You realize that, right? It doesn't mean that you're all Caucasian. Just because you're light skinned, it doesn't mean they're all Caucasian, like at all. Because Snow White is technically German, and Cinderella isn't. So it's quite obvious that you haven't done your research whatsoever. But then again, it's of course Fox News, obviously Fox. Of course, they're not gonna know a damn thing about anything. Anyway, so apparently this article wants to make these claims and whatnot. So anyway, as I read, at long last, there's a Latin. I mean, technically, since it's a female, it should say Latina, so the grammar's wrong. And yes, before anyone says anything, the Spanish language is very gender oriented, just throwing it out there. So I should say there is a Latina inspired character ready for Hortera and whatnot. So it's referring to the TV show, of course, and of course this character has been around for a good while anyway, of course and whatnot. So according to this article, those these civil rights groups say that their impatience has finally been rewarded, and I've seen bits and pieces of this character, so I've spoken about this character before in previous videos, and I actually like the character. She's a really cool character, of course, and whatnot. And so, okay, yeah, of course, it brings up the whole thing with the civil rights organizations, and they will claim that it's important for little girls to see themselves on screen, which is fine. That inherently isn't wrong, really, like at all. I'm pretty much trying to make a compliment on her appearance, having brown hair, black hair, or maybe brown eyes, just whatever. Point being is that have some kind of resemblance in some kind of way to said viewer, whoever that viewer may be, so that the title character can be a smart individual, very high in spirits. Of course, having the characters show that they can do anything they want and just go through any kind of struggle. That if the viewer has any children, they can be reflected through the screen, and it's of course affecting them in a positive way and not live up to stereotypes, which is again fine. And inherently isn't wrong really. But I just think that okay, what about Fox News? In that very article I showed y'all a moment ago, there's a section where it's mentioned somebody from the Fox News Latino segment, I guess you can say, or whatever you can call it. Someone say that she felt great about this. It feels incredible. That's totally amazing and totally surreal and whatnot. So this individual, whoever she is, just goes on to say that people like her have been waiting for a long time for this kind of thing, not just in one generation, but multiple generations before, and consider it as a great honor and a great opportunity that this something could actually be have something of this character, be proud of this character, and has it this character be created by Disney and makes it extra special, of course, obviously. But basically, the article just shows people praising this character and just feeling great about it and being inclusive and whatnot. But this entire thing just seems bizarre to me. Not the fact that they're praising the this character, but what makes this does make it kind of odd is that how's your Fox News would be okay with this, but then they're the very people who would vote for Donald Trump because Donald Trump actually said lots of nasty stuff about Hispanic people, and oh boy, it was not exactly too present about Hispanic people. He said a lot of awful things about Hispanic folks, and yet they were strongly favor Donald Trump quite often, just because he's a Republican, just because he's just that. Dude, I'd assume that he's like the second coming of Jesus and whatnot, which of course is a lie. So yeah, Fox News would have to criticize the pretty much everyone else who isn't a Republican and act as if that they're always in the right. And yes, of course, they don't like the fact people would criticize them, obviously. And then top of that, they would treat atheist people, people who don't believe in any religion at all, people who are atheists, people who don't believe in God, would be treated like garbage, of course. And that seems weird if you ask me. So what if some people don't believe in God? So what? Of course, there's another controversy, of course. So the Fox News controversies will definitely vary. And yes, obviously, they would talk about shit about trans people. Of course, they talk about garbage about trans people. They would, of course, talk about trash about lesbians, gay people, stuff like this, of course. And just not only that, it goes, it's a long list. It's a long laundry list here, folks. But I'm just going to give a super brief summary. Like the whole idea that they are criticized for misleading the audience when it comes to science, most notable climate change, and of course the whole COVID-19 pandemic and whatnot, not giving the accurate details, of course, and slandering people like Joe Biden, making false things, of course, like the whole idea that Fox News was actually sued for defamation in 2021 by two companies, which of course is relating to the idea that the network hosts and guests promoted the falsehoods that the voting system were rigged to deny Donald Trump's re-election in 2020. Presidential ways and whatnot, 2020, yeah. In that area of the debates, of course, and obviously, that was a complete lie. That system isn't rigged against Donald Trump because he's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has done a lot of bad stuff. He's not the good guy. They're trying to paint the picture like he did something so sweet and nice. He's just a victim of lying. When in reality, they have promoted a lot of lying themselves. And yes, they're going to have a grudge against people like, of course, Muslims. Of course, not every Muslim is an extremist, obviously. Of course, there's that. It's just so many things that go against them. So how can they be praising this show for inclusive, but then they are the same people who will bitch about being inclusive? Oh, sure, it's great that Disney is being inclusive, but then turn around and complain about Disney being inclusive. Like, what the hell? Anyway, I just leave it at that, folks. So I just thought I'd bring this up because, of course, Fox News being completely inconsistent, but then again, it's Fox News. Of course, they would do that. It just doesn't make any sense, like whatsoever. Anyway, what I don't know anymore. Just seems odd. I don't know anymore. Whatever. Okay, folks, that'll be it. So thanks for watching. Until next time, I guess. Oh Christ! I feel like they must be trolling, right? They can't be possibly this stupid. Ugh.